Hey guys, welcome back to another episode here at the CrossFit Garage podcast. We are trying to help you build a firm foundation in fitness, food, and finances. So we're mixing it back up. Today's gonna be a little bit of everything, but it's gonna be a big dosing of entrepreneurial and just get it done. I'm here with Brady and he is gonna share his story. You guys are gonna love him. If you've been at the 7:30 a.m. class, you know who he is. And he's got a new business that him and his brother or cousin? Brother started. We're gonna talk about that too. So if you're interested in being an entrepreneur, you just have to start. All right, first off, Brady, how did you find yourself in Woodstock, Georgia?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on this cool podcast.
Yeah, you're welcome. We're on a time crunch too.
Yeah.
You got 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So, well,
30-ish.
maybe 45, but yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. So I may be going kind of fast. It's okay though.
Yep. Okay. So I grew up in Woodstock. I went to King's Academy in Woodstock, Georgia.
Did you know Jennifer and Alec?
Yes.
Okay.
Knew Jennifer and her family. And so I've been here my whole life, basically. I went to college at Georgia Southern in Statesboro and then came back. And
let me guess. I'm going to use my wisdom and say it was some sort of economics, financial something degree.
You got it. Finance.
Yeah. That's it. Here we go.
Yeah. So graduated with finance degree, came back here.
Yeah. And is your wife also from the area or?
She's not. She's from Augusta. So we met, during college. And then I graduated the year COVID happened. So it's February, March, COVID happens. I graduate the next May. So I'm already at home, graduate. And now, I happen to stumble upon Aaron Vincent, who's also my dad's advisor.
I didn't know that.
So we already had a relationship with each other. I kind of had an interest in, financial planning, financial advising, in college. And so we had met up a few times. I kind of shadowed him for a summer during college. So I already had the relationship there, and it kind of just worked out to where, I came in and asked him, hey, is there a chance that there's room for me, and kind of could that start sooner rather than later? And it kind of worked out. So
yeah, no. So a little backstory on this. We have met a couple of times, and one time we met, maybe once or twice. Anyway, we were up at Canyons and talking about business and entrepreneurial and all that. And it's funny when you bounce ideas off of somebody else, and you are a rainmaker, you can really change the dynamic of what you do. So we sat down, we talked, you came up with an idea, you go back and you are like, I'm making it rain here. You create or help the intake of people go from, I'm not sure, to, you guys make a lot of sense, I want to talk. And I think the easiest thing, the reason I say this is, one, good on you for creating ideas and taking a step forward to that. But anybody out there who's ever thinking, I would like to be part of that business, think about it from the owner standpoint. What do you hate doing? I'll do it. How can I make you more money? Thank you. Right?
Yep.
And that's what you did. Like, what can I do to take it off your plate? And how can I be better and move the process along? That's fantastic. That's probably a whole story in itself. Just, I love that when, like right now tomorrow we're going to start the food log. So today is the 31st, which I know when I release this podcast, it'll probably be like mid-February or March. But it's about the, like jumping into in tracking data and seeing what to do with it. So data is one thing, but what do you do with that data, right? So food logging or watching the numbers at your business. So tell me a little bit about Vincent Financial.
So Vincent Financial is a financial planning firm. We're in downtown Woodstock. If you've been on Main Street, you've seen our building. We do financial plans for people. We have a YouTube presence as well. So we kind of have two sides of the house. One, we kind of serve national clients across the country. And then we also have a local presence.
Huge local presence. There's a lot of us here that use you guys.
Yep.
And you've been on their YouTube channel. I've seen you. You've done some shorts and some longs.
My main responsibility at VFG, if you will.
There you go. Vincent Financial Group.
Yep. Is doing YouTube content and then kind of fielding people that are interested in working with us from YouTube. So we probably had 600 to 800 conservatively reach out to us and have a meeting with us just from watching our YouTube channels.
Wow.
So that's a big part of our business. It's really fun to be able to talk with people from all across the country, and that's kind of where I mainly help.
Yeah. And so even in this business, there has to be a way to get into your business. And so what happens usually is a financial advisor or let's say coach, they're like, hey, all of a sudden I want to be an entrepreneur. And you forget about all the other steps that go into it. And a huge step is delivering the service. But the other side of it is I have to nurture the people that I'm with, but also create a way to handle the volume of people that want to come in. So we've got a gym next door to us. We don't do Groupon and we don't do discounts and we don't do hey, just show up and we'll figure it out, because one, it's not sticky, and two, if we increase the volume of people coming in, like these 800 leads you have, that's a daunting task. I need like lots of attention to go into it, and it's hard to like sustain that attention unless you do what you did and turn like the 800 from like, well, maybe 80 come over to now it's like 400 are coming over. You're like, okay, now I have too much business. So that's a huge step that Brady did. If you guys are interested and you're in the gym and you can find him, he will tell you the story. It's it came down to like a simple question, right?
Yeah,
like change
basically.
the dynamic of what am I saying and what am I presenting?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, and that's huge. And sometimes you can't see it until you take a step out, take a breath, and you come back in. You're like, oh yeah, I could just do that. All right. So how did you guys end up finding CrossFit Garage?
So it all started, I believe, with Matt, who works at our company. I'm not sure when he started. He had already been doing CrossFit by the time I came to Vincent Financial. And when I came, everyone else in the gym was doing it. And so
everyone else in the business.
Everyone else in the business.
Yeah, was
coming to the gym. And so, it was very interesting to me. Obviously, my take on CrossFit was, it's the mantra of what CrossFit is, intimidating, hard, it's probably not for you, or whatever it is. But I see, 4 regular guys, in their 20s and 30s, now 40s.
And 50s.
And 50s,
yeah. Look at this guy.
Doing CrossFit, going every morning, coming back, feeling great. And, my main thought was, if they can do it, I can do it.
There you go. Yeah. And so probably in 16, 17 years of running this business, I am still trying to deal with the fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Fear of I can't do it. Doubt, these movements aren't for me. And fear, uncertainty. So fearful. I'm walking into there's meatheads in there and doing these things. And I try to dispel that. It's not like that at all. Now, it was in 2008, 9, 10, and so forth. It was probably a lot like that because nobody knew what we were doing. We're just like, throw it down. I hope you don't break an arm, right? And there's very few injuries, but it was it had a motif, a style of that. We have worked hard to change that over the years. And can anybody do CrossFit?
Anybody.
Could you scale and modify the workout to make sure it meets where you're at?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's the weird part. And so what happens is, it's just like investing. The one secret to investing is you must put money in, right?
Yep.
And then after that, make some good choices. But if you never put money in, it's never going to grow.
Yep. And you want to invest in, what your end goal is.
Well,
right?
that's true.
Yeah.
And so same thing in here.
It's what you want to get out of it.
What do you want to get out of this?
Yeah.
CrossFit, the methodology of CrossFit is a hack or shortcut, whatever, to health and fitness without having to do like it used to be. Guys would go to the gym, back by chest and try, 4 hours in the gym. Girls jump on the treadmill for 2 hours. You don't have to do that. Weirdly, this stuff will get you fit in 8 to 12 minute intervals. Sometimes it's just 2 minutes, sometimes it's 45. But the methodology of CrossFit works.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I grew up, playing sports, doing athletics, so I had general
physical preparedness.
Yeah, went to the gym, but I didn't have any experience in these technical movements, anything on the bar, kipping, all of that stuff was just very foreign to me, and that's kind of what I was intimidated with. But I knew I did sports, but I didn't do that.
Right.
Well, it's actually funny that my sports background is kind of what fuels why I like CrossFit. And it's because, you are always have something to work on. There's something that you can find a drive in and be competitive, whether it's with yourself or with someone else. And there's a skill work that's similar to sports that I think, helps athletes, want to enjoy CrossFit versus just going to a gym and just pumping it out, something very mindless. It's something that engages your mind as well with skill work and yeah.
Yeah, so that's actually, it's interesting you say that because for me, I feel very similar in the fact that not only does it keep you on your toes to learn a skill, but you can learn as much as you want. Mm-hmm. So I had a long talk with Alan Lindsay, and he's like, I'd like to really up my, I think it was clean and jerk maybe. I'm like, do we really want to do that? So if you really wanted to, you could just focus on that. It's literally in the Olympics. You could focus on it. But then your cardio is going to go down. Your pull-ups will go down. You'll sacrifice everything, right? So how much skill do you want to get? How much is enough, right? And then the other is I've got one grandmother who died with Parkinson's and another who died with Alzheimer's. And so I know those are mental disorders of some sort, or nervous system disorders or whatever. So it is you can Google, don't believe me, I am not a doctor. Google CrossFit and Parkinson's. And their stories, people's real stories of how their brain has changed and they've come back from some of these diseases. I'm like, okay, well, I want to fight this stuff. So I think the learning of new skills keeps you, it's like doing a Sudoku puzzle every day or something. Yeah. So you said you played some sports. What'd you play? I'm going to guess mini golf because short like me?
No.
He is not short. You're like 9 feet tall.
I played mainly basketball and baseball. And then I had a few small college offers for basketball.
Get out of here, really?
Yep. And then
didn't take them, or
didn't take them. Didn't feel right. I think I probably wouldn't have. It would have fizzled out. I don't think I had what it take, or the desire, the drive to go to a small school,
right.
and kind of my life be sports. So didn't do that. But now I basically just play golf. All the time.
Oh yeah. And you don't play any pickleball?
I do play pickleball.
There you
That's
go.
true.
All right, come on.
Yeah.
So, advice to aspiring men who would like to be husbands and then maybe fathers: watch out for golf because it'll suck your time.
Watch out.
Yeah. So pickleball is a little bit better, maybe. But so you mentioned in the sports that hey, maybe I couldn't make it. Maybe there was an end. Here's something that I've learned. It's taken me 50 years to get here. So we had a fellow show up who used to, at our men's small group, we do a Fellowship Christian School Dads 7 in the morning on Tuesday, and he played wide receiver for the Falcons for like 10 years. And so he's got a son I forgot his name, Mike maybe, but he's got a son in the 11th grade. And his son is getting offers. I mean, if he played NFL, that's probably right. And he was super fast. And so he's talking to his kid about, look, there's an end point. If you make it to college and if you play in the NFL, it's over eventually. So my point is, whether you decide, hey, it's over in high school, it's over in college, there's an end to every sport. Mm-hmm. Best to end it on your own terms rather than, like he said, you're one injury away from the career being over in the NFL. You have to watch out. I'm like, oh, fascinating. I never thought of that.
Wow.
So yeah, I tried to run track and wrestle at Georgia Tech. And you know how much the average professional pole vaulter gets paid? Yeah, nothing.
Volunteer work.
Zero.
Basically.
So I was like, you know what? I should probably actually just go for this stupid engineering degree. That's probably going to pay better. Yeah. It didn't last long. Also, I realized in college the starting height of the crossbar for the vault was higher than I've ever jumped in my life. I'm like, oh, okay, somebody probably should have told me that. But this is pre-internet, so you couldn't just Google it and be like, oh, this 15-foot starting height? Yeah, I've never jumped that. I'm not going to make it. But yeah, and I didn't know, like, your body, you should be taller like you. And, well, I was kind of fast, but not fast enough, but not tall enough either to ever have a pole big enough. But, okay, so you played some sports. You played basketball. What did you play in basketball? Were you
yeah, I was a guard.
Yeah, nice. Shooting guard?
Shooting guard.
There you go.
Yep.
The 3-point, that's your thing?
Yeah, I was a shooter.
Yeah, nice.
I was a shooter. Yeah, so I went to a small school in high school, so I was the tallest one on our team. But, you know how basketball works.
Yeah, it doesn't always mean.
It doesn't always mean that's
where you play. You're forward then on the block. Usually, so I coached a little in 6th grade. That's when boys are kind of sprouting up. And I'm like, you are tall, and I know you can't like dribble because your body doesn't belong to you yet.
Right.
Just stand right here, put your hands up, catch, turn, and shoot. Can you do that? I'm like, I'll take you. Let's do it. Yeah, so tall is good, but it doesn't always mean you need to be there. So I played a lot of mini golf because,
low to the ground.
Right. What'd you play in baseball?
Third base, first base, and pitcher.
Oh,
so your
nice.
Classic tall person positions.
How's your shoulder?
It's great. No problems.
Usually that's what comes up. They're like,
yep.
I didn't know this. So Chance Bean was at the gym for a while, and he was telling me there's rules to like how much you can pitch. Mm-hmm. And they would like, your team would track the other team and look at their records, and they've been at tournaments where a team repitched a kid that already pitched enough that day, and so they're like, hey, look, and they're like, yeah, okay. They kicked the entire team out. They DQ them, or not DQ, yeah, I guess disqualify them. They're like, you're out of the tournament because you broke a cardinal rule of abusing a child's shoulder.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, you can suffer some long-term injuries for sure.
Yeah, so interesting, I find that the kids that'll come in here from baseball, especially pitchers, are like, look, let's strengthen your arm and really watch out for like over the head movements. Let's do other things that'll give you some slow rotation strength, because you don't want to overdo that one and then end it just by, there goes my arm. My wife's sister's husband made a name for himself at UGA throwing a knuckleball.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're like, we're looking for someone with a different pitch. We heard you could throw a knuckleball. Are you interested? And he's like, sure. And so he's like, I don't like throwing knuckleball, but they wanted it. And he's like, I played for a long time throwing a knuckleball.
Wow.
Which is a weird throw. It makes no sense to me. The ball just
Yeah, it's different every time. It's a different movement every time.
Random in space, which it's moving forward, so it should just go straight, but it doesn't.
Yep.
It's crazy. Could you throw a knuckleball?
I could not. No way.
What was that guy? Nico? No, there was maybe a guy from Japan that threw a wicked knuckleball.
I don't remember any. Japan,
yeah, I can't think of it. But there was always a thing like watching it. You're like, even the umps and the commentators like, yeah, we don't even know what we're calling here because the ball is just all over the place. Okay, so tell me a little bit. You and your brother decide somehow, let's get into pickleball. So I think it was your brother that started the idea. Then he drug you in, or did you go the other way? Tell me the story.
It was very together of an idea. So my brother, a little background on him, he's been doing, he works for a business resource magazine right now for breweries. So the magazine is for brewery owners. So, so he's been doing that for 10 years now. His job is sales in that company. And so we have always wanted to together, start a business. I love my day job, but both of us have realized that we want to be a part of something and build something from the ground up and it be kind of our thing.
Well, this is great. You have a business that you can do both businesses. Hey, I can work, and then later on, I can just go home and work. Right. And that's like, I do real estate and this and a couple other things and whatever. They don't interfere. I just put the attention on what needs to be attention.
Right.
And let me back up and tell people, like some people are like, I just want to hustle. If your job is to help the company make money, that's a great hustle right there. And you can literally, like you did, become better, level up in the things that you do. And then when you go home, you got spare time. What could you do? And what you guys have picked is beautiful. I love it. So he's already got experience in this world of magazines and selling to businesses. So you don't sell a magazine or a online magazine to Andy who is brewing at home. You sell it to
the Reformation owner in downtown Woodstock. That is their audience, actually. So they're not selling to them. It is for them. So it's a resource for them on how to be a better brewery owner, how to have a better successful business. That's what the magazine and content will be. And so for us, we had kind of together come up with the idea that maybe it would make sense to start a magazine because he already has a lot of experience in it.
Is it a physical magazine?
It is not. It's online only.
Yeah, so if you're over 50 and you hear magazine, no, you cannot flip its pages.
You can flip online.
That's true. Okay, yeah, so virtual.
Very nice, yeah. So I came up with the idea of pickleball. He came up with the idea of a magazine. So it really was a together kind of idea. And so what we made was a pickleball business resource magazine. It's called Pickleball Club Magazine. So our readers, our audience is pickleball club owners. And before anyone thinks there are none of those, there are over 13,000 pickleball clubs in the nation right now. And so
just in our small little area, Woodstock runs pickleball sessions. Thus, they are a pickleball club.
Right.
And they would like to do a better job at it. Yep. So you guys are almost like a business mentorship through a magazine-ish environment.
Right. Yeah. Yep. And so it can scale anywhere from, a small Facebook page that meets at a local park to a very large club similar to, I don't know, any big club here that has a golf course, tennis, pickleball, they'll have a pickleball director at these really large clubs. And then there's also, businesses that are pickleball clubs that's just pickleball. You walk in, it's just a bunch of pickleball clubs with a pro shop similar to, golf and tennis. And so it's a very large industry and it's growing, rapidly. As we all know, pickleball is the fastest growing sport in the nation, if not the world.
How many people playing pickleball do they know?
I have no idea.
It's a lot, though.
It's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot. And so
it flipped over from the over 50 crowd to now it's like everybody's playing. Like so tennis courts are getting. I saw them revamping an old tennis court that nobody was using, and they've lined it for pickleball. It's not a tennis court anymore.
Yep. Yeah. If you go to any local park, you'll realize most of the courts now are going to be pickleball courts, and then there's going to be maybe one or two tennis courts. That's kind of how I've seen it, and I've seen, talking to a lot of pickleball companies and clubs, I've realized there's a very similar story, and it all kind of really started to take force around COVID. People are at home wanting to do something, and that's where a lot of the players and consumers came into the industry is, hey, I have nothing to do. Let's go play pickleball.
Yeah.
And it's easy to do. It's a lot easier than golf or tennis or really anything else in that kind of lane. And so it's a really easy way to go out there and be active. Like you said, it was mainly viewed as an old person kind of sport.
I resemble that remark. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And I loved it.
I think pickleball was invented in the 80s, but it's been kind of an old person, you see old people playing it at the beach type of sport for a long time. And then, in the early 2010s-ish, the industry started, rapidly building. There's a pro league now. There's a tour. And now, obviously, with that, a bunch of companies, paddle companies, netting companies, lighting companies, all of these guys are flooding into this industry and now serving pickleball clubs.
Yeah. And speaking of Vincent Financial, we gave a huge shout out there. Aaron is in the house right now.
Yes, sir. Give us a call.
Sneaking through. So, guys, seriously, if you want to have a know and trusted person, company, whatever, these guys are awesome. He's got lots of customers here at the garage and lots of customers at Jubilee Church. And weirdly, the Venn diagram of Vincent Financial, Jubilee Church, and CrossFit Garage is very overlappy. And let's make it so.
Certified financial planners. We'll see you there.
Yeah, there it is. That's it. So that's his boss leaving for a meeting that they all have to be in. So you've got as much time as it takes him to get there and shower.
That's right.
We're close. We got 9 minutes. Okay, so if you are involved in pickleball in any way, you could probably find the club director or maybe the business owner and say, hey, you should take a peek at this. The website is?
Pickleballclubmag.com.
So slower.
Pickleballclubmag.com.
There you go. So I will try to remember to put it in the show notes. I've been bad about that lately, but it's pretty easy to remember. Go there, see some of the offerings. What is a typical thing you're going to tell somebody, hey, I'm running this business, I don't know what I'm doing. What's something that they're going to get out of your magazine?
Yeah, so our content's going to be basically success stories from other clubs, tips and tricks on how to better your business, essentially. And so, one of our latest articles was, building relationships with the, local type of, like the cities, in order to maybe get funding from them. And so just like little ideas like that, building a kids sponsored type of program, things like that for just ideas on how to better your business. Most of our content is going to be a story kind of based on a club, of what a club's doing. And so
if I'm a club that's doing pretty well and I want to share my story with the world to help them out, the more people that play pickleball, what do they say? As the a rising tide rises all ships. So if we can lift, CrossFit, financial planning, pickleball, the more people that are into it, it just helps everybody. So if somebody's got a good story they want to share, they just go to your website, do the contact me, and get you?
Yeah, absolutely. We would love to share the stories online. That's kind of what our content's all about. Is if it is a story about a club doing something great, we want to hear about it, and we want our mission is essentially to, like you said, better the industry, better the sport, further the sport, but specifically we want club directors, club owners to have a better business by looking at our content and kind of seeing our magazine.
Yeah. So as a kind of like a I guess broadening story. So yes, I own this CrossFit business. Do I know what I'm doing? No. I'm an electrical engineer from Georgia Tech. I have zero business training. So it's like learn as you go. Eventually, I found out there's companies that will mentor you. And so I pay a lot of money to be mentored, not just in this business, but my rental business and everything else. So if you want to shortcut the process in anything, hire a mentor. If you want to shortcut the process, find stories that make sense, right? So you guys are bringing people together that have success, and you can simply read it and go, that makes sense for me, or that doesn't make sense for me. Yeah. And just sharing those ideas is awesome, because typically, I'm going to guess the way these guys pick like a pickleball director is, hey, does anyone want to run pickleball? Right. And so how much experience do they have? Probably none.
Yeah.
So you need ideas.
Yeah, definitely. And, another thing that we want to, have a lot of it in our content is also companies in the industry who want to be in front of pickleball club owners.
Right.
So that is the advertising type opportunity to, hey, is your target audience club owners who have pro shops, who have needs like I said, lighting, netting, court surfaces, paddles, balls, all of these things. If you're that type of company and you want to be in front of essentially every club in the nation, in the aspect of when they see you, they have the mindset of bettering their business. that I think we're a good fit for that. So that's kind of who we're looking for as well to be in front of.
Right. No, that makes sense. You help them find so when we started the CrossFit Garage, the place that we bought gear from was called the Garage Gym, and it was just random junk thrown together real quick, and it was a crapshoot. I mean, and then if you wanted ropes, you had to go to Buddy Lee. If you wanted ab mats, you went to ab mat. Nobody put it together. Rogue puts it all together now. So you guys are helping these guys with a service of let us connect you, and rather than Google these things, these items are out there and people are building them. How do I find them quickly? This is how. So I learned a lesson. So we're doing pickleball in the gym because it's cold. Soon we'll move outside the gym. But I went to Walmart to get a paddle. And you could buy a $9 paddle, $24 paddle, $60 paddle, $120 paddle. I'm like, what? I don't even...
$300 paddle.
I don't know what I'm doing. So you guys are going to set people up with appropriate gear. Or at least help them identify what it is. Yeah. There was also 3 different balls you could buy. There was an orange, blue, and yellow. And we have rubber mats in here, so it doesn't bounce quite right. So I was like, let me get the different balls and see which one bounces better. Turns out orange bounces better on the rubber, and it actually feels almost real. But I have no idea what I'm doing. So guys, if you are in the business of pickleball, if you sell anything, go look them up. If you are a director or a club owner, look them up. If you are an average person and you just want to be educated in the world of pickleball, go on here and look this up and do some reading. It's literally not rocket science.
No.
Right. It's pickleball, but it's super fun. You can do this sport. My dad, who is 77, is playing. And he's been like, you should play with me. I'm like, sounds like an old man sport. He's like, technically you are. You're 50. I'm like, that's about valid. So I guess I should play. Yeah. We've been playing, and it's awesome. You don't have to... the court isn't big enough that you have to they hit it, I'm never going to get to it, right? And my body's not getting like twisted on my knees as bad as it would on a tennis court. So it's easy on the body. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of like ping pong, except a little bit bigger, and you're standing on the table.
Right. Yeah. We just did a story, Maria Neely down in Jacksonville. We did her as a feature story that we just came out with the second edition of Pickleball Club Mag a few days ago. Or now it's probably a few weeks ago.
It's going to be, so a few days ago would be like the 28th?
Yeah, but she was telling the story of when she picked the sport up, she had a big tennis background, very, very good at tennis, very skilled. And so she went and played with these older, group of people thinking she was going to annihilate them. And then they end up just skunking her, just absolutely destroying her because they actually knew how to play versus her just hitting the ball around. It's a fun sport in that way. Yeah.
So weirdly, I think the hardest part is 1, don't go in the kitchen, and 2, scoring.
Yeah.
1, 1, 3. You're like, what the hell did that just mean?
Learn to dink the ball.
True.
And learn how to keep score.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so we're going to run through some questions. I got you 3 to 5 minutes before I know we need to cut this guy off. So I'm going to go through some standard questions because yes, Brady is a member here. So what was your very first job you got paid to do?
My very first job I got paid to do. It was either mowing lawns.
Ooh, nice. Entrepreneur right there.
Or Chick-fil-A.
Oh.
I think it was around that same time, 15-ish.
Yeah. Did you know that God made Chick-fil-A? Yeah. So down here in the South, it's
Amen.
Like get you closer to the Bible Belt. So for those who don't know what a Chick-fil-A is, think McDonald's except more glorious. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's all
for those who don't know Chick-fil-A. Just in case.
If you do know Chick-fil-A, then you're in the South where it's belong. Actually, I think there's a Chick-fil-A in Colorado now. I think they're expanding.
They're
out.
everywhere.
Yeah. So what's been something cool in this CrossFit journey? What's something that doing that was pretty neat, or hitting that number or whatever? What's something that you've...
I think seeing my power cleans and squat cleans increase pretty rapidly at the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm still nowhere near what I want to be, but...
You have a good squat. The squatting in some of these is tough.
Yep.
And
it's fun to do.
The timing of it.
It's a good feeling when you feel like you're doing it right and you get to increase the weight. And then I would say the other one would be the kipping pull-ups. Yeah. Feeling like you can string a few together definitely makes you feel kind of on top of the world.
Yeah. So, and it's a weird thing. It's that swing and that kip. I mean, if you came from the gymnast background, you're like, duh. But
right.
I mean,
it's so
I didn't
foreign.
do gymnastics.
Yep.
What? So these are something we have to learn. Here, and you can focus on it and say, I will get that if I practice it for a month. Yes, you're going to get it. Or if I do a couple sessions, you can get it quicker. We don't pull up every day, so that means we're working on tons of skills all the time. And you will hit this I just got this. Oh, I just got that. But it takes a while.
Right.
But you can always focus on there. Let's see. What? We just did that one. So we used to have that billboard right there. If you could put a message up on that billboard, and people in 92 could read it and see whatever it is. It doesn't have to be health and fitness. It could be
literally
pickleball.
anything.
It could be church. I mean, whatever, like a motto for your life. So the idea is this is a saying or a one word or a sentence that kind of typifies me and what I want to put out to the world. What would you put on that billboard?
Pretty simple. I think I would do all of Christ for all of life.
Ooh, there you go. I like that.
I did not make that up, but I think it's a good.
Hey, steal it. So the best stuff is stolen from other people who are wiser. Yeah, I know. At least I hope that's true because I don't have any original thoughts. I just listen to a lot of people. Are there any books and podcasts that you listen to that you refer out or you like?
I have a very wide range of podcasts.
Ooh,
I
tell
listen
me.
to a lot
I'm
of
always into
lot of
looking for
sports,
new.
a lot of sports podcasts, fantasy football podcasts.
Name one. I don't know the titles. I just know what they are.
Bill
right?
Simmons podcast.
Okay.
He kind of covers basketball, football, fantasy footballers. Is this really getting geeky here?
No, geek is good. So in the Bible it says the geek will inherit the earth. So we want to be geeky.
Here's one that I think a lot of people will enjoy. It's called Haunted Cosmos. And this is about, basically, they go through stories of natural phenomena that happen on the earth, but they're Christians, and so they do it through a kind of spiritual lens of what they think is happening from a biblical worldview. And so they cover things like Bigfoot, aliens.
Oh, nice.
Weird things that happen in the water. They cover a ton of stuff, and it is fascinating. And it's very entertaining. They're funny, and they're Christians, and so they kind of talk about how...
That's cosmic haunting?
Haunted Cosmos.
Haunted Cosmos.
Yeah.
So have you ever seen the picture of the galactic eye that's out there?
No.
No, so there's like a Hubble or whatever telescope picture, and there's this nebula that looks like somebody's eye out there. I'm like, that is crazy. And you're like, is it like, I mean, obviously it's not an eye, but you're like, that is so weird. Like, the cosmos is big and crazy. What others? What else do you listen to? What financial podcasts? Murder podcasts?
I used to listen to some weird murder podcasts, and then I kind of got freaked out by them. And then
I need to buy a gun.
Yeah.
If you're gonna get a gun, get training. Don't ever get a gun without training. So yeah, and we're in the South, and so anybody can just go to any candy store and get a gun. That's how it works in the South. Just kidding.
Let's see. Yeah, I listen to a few, spiritual type of podcasts.
What about books? Are you into reading?
Yes.
What do you read?
A lot of spiritual books.
That's
I'd
good.
say.
Yeah. There's a big one. Basic
there's
instructions
big
before
one.
leaving Earth. The Bible.
Yep,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
a good one.
That's a good way of putting it. Yep. Man, I can't think of a ton.
Do you ever do
right now.
Audible, like where they read you the book?
No.
Yeah. So I don't read very well.
I'll say this. I will want to listen to this one, but I just finished reading all of Lord of the Rings, all three of them. That was great.
Yeah, those are good ones. My oldest son, I got him finally into listening to some books on audio. And so audible.com, I guess it's now owned by Amazon.
Yeah.
And so he cranks out the books now. And I am trying to keep up with him. And we went from like the Lord of the Rings type books into, I mean, you name it. It's usually sci-fi or fantasy, but to see the love of, I don't know if I'd call it reading, but like it does spawn ideas in like creativity.
Yeah.
But I know it's not reading.
It's better than watching TV though.
It is. And so for me, like if my wife, like, Andy, I got a chore for you, I just put on a podcast, man, and I can chore for hours. And book, podcast, whatever, just let it go. And you can listen and learn. So when you drive, music, book, or podcast?
Mainly podcasts.
There you go.
Yep, mainly podcasts.
If you're driving, you're learning. There's always something, right? Yeah. So very cool. So, all right, last thing. Any advice for anybody out here in the Woodstock area? So how old are you? Do you mind saying?
25.
So if you're 25, can you do CrossFit?
Yeah.
If you're 25, is this place intimidating?
No.
If I'm 50, is this place intimidating?
No, as long as you're here,
Yeah, it's right.
No,
That's right.
yeah, no. It's
I'm the creepy guy in the back. No, actually, lately I have been. I have my hood up to stay hot and warm. But anybody can do this, and anybody can move their fitness along. You do not have to be fit to do CrossFit. It's like this. You don't have to be wealthy to start investing. You don't have to be wealthy to have a wealth manager, because guess what they're going to do? Help you grow your wealth, right? They're going to teach you easy things like, hey, do you know you probably shouldn't spend more than you make? Duh. But I just did a podcast last night with Scott Curley from Jubilee. He's a does financial planning and other stuff. Did the Dave Ramsey snowball approach, and he's a certified Dave Ramsey guy. He said it's interesting. The easy stuff people just don't know. It's like in here. Hey, when are you breathing when you lift? Oh, yeah, I should probably breathe. That's probably why I'm tired.
Yep.
Like today on the push presses, did you hold your breath the whole time?
Tried not to.
Yeah, so you're like,
I'll get dizzy if I hold my breath.
And you could probably do 10 and hold your breath, but if you do, you're just gonna mess it's over. You're gonna mess yourself up. All right, guys. Hey, it's been fun, and we made it on time. This is Brady. We're here at CrossFit Garage. If you're in Woodstock, Georgia, and you're looking for either a place to get fit or healthy, or MyoFit is in our gym. If you need some work with soft tissue, or dry needling, or cupping, or karate chops. Alex is looking at me like, no, we don't do karate chops. We got Alex and Sam in the back, or in the front. They do this here. We are happy to help you guys. Our mission is to help you become the hero of your own story. And if you are somebody who is happy, humble, and helpful, and looking to be healthy and fit now as well as in your 90, then you're our type of people. All right, guys, take care. See you next time.